Welcome to Star Recapped. Today we're diving into the world of drama, fantasy, and sci-fi with the 2020 film, The Midnight Sky. But before we jump in, a heads up, spoilers ahead. Let's get started. Our story revolves around Augustine, an elderly man facing a serious illness. He is at a space observatory on Earth. His job is to watch over astronauts as they search for a new planet where people can live. While everyone else evacuates the area, Augustine remains behind, living a solitary existence. He spends his days sleeping, drinking, and having meals alone, even administering his own medical treatments like blood transfusions and medication. Flashback to years earlier, when Augustine was a lecturer, captivating audiences with talks about potentially habitable planets like K23. At one event, he catches the eye of a woman who engages him in conversation about his latest book on K23, questioning its authenticity after they share a few drinks together. In the present, Augustine wakes up and begins scrolling through the computer, checking on the status of various missions. Most of them seem to be inactive, but one catches his attention, Ether. As he looks through the crew's photos, he spots a familiar face, Sully. Sully is a member of the 5-person crew on Ether, responsible for communication. She's pregnant and often shares laughs with the crew, especially with Captain Aid, who is also the father of her child. However, Sully is haunted by nightmares of being stranded on K23. As Sully settles into her operating room, she receives a strange signal that puzzles her. She quickly notifies the rest of the crew, alerting them to the mysterious occurrence. At the same time, back on Earth, Augustine follows his usual routine at the observatory. Suddenly, a loud fire alarm startles him. Hurrying to the kitchen, he puts out the fire and then collapses, exhausted from the effort. It's then that he notices a frightened little girl hiding under the sink. Horrified by the realization that she's been left behind, Augustine tries really hard to talk to someone on the radio to tell them what's happening. But no matter how much he tries, he just can't reach anyone. Augustine discovers where the little girl has been sleeping down in one of the storage units. Despite his attempts to explain that he can't take care of her, she remains silent or unable to respond. Moved by her presence, Augustine prepares dinner for her. After their meal, the girl draws Augustine a picture of a flower, an iris, which he realizes is her name. Touched by her gesture, Augustine continues his efforts to contact the Ether mission, but without success. Later, when it's time to sleep, Iris tries to join Augustine in his room, but he arranges for her to stay in a nearby room instead. However, in the middle of the night, she quietly returns to his room and creates a cozy nest for herself in a corner, opting to sleep on the floor. Ether's communication troubles persist as they struggle to connect with other ships or anyone back on Earth. Despite these challenges, they're on their way back from their mission to K23, where they've made a groundbreaking discovery. Meanwhile, Iris observes Augustine as he undergoes his regular blood transfusions, then settles into a chair beside him, gazing up through the observatory roof at the stars twinkling above them. In a flashback years ago, Augustine is deep into his work when the woman he met at a party confronts him for not returning her calls. She's upset and tells him she called to say she's not pregnant, even though she hadn't actually called him for that reason. She scolds Augustine, saying he's too focused on work, ignoring those who care about him, and wasting his life. In the current time, Augustine goes outside to check on the antenna that helps him talk to others. But when he gets there, he sees lots of birds on the ground, looking really sick and unable to move properly. Recognizing this as an alarming sign that the contaminated air has reached the observatory far earlier than anticipated, Augustine realizes that their current antenna isn't powerful enough to establish contact with Ether. However, he recalls that the antenna at Lake Hazen, formerly a weather station, possesses the necessary strength. Augustine explains to Iris that their only chance of survival and contacting Ether lies in reaching Lake Hazen. As they must flee from the advancing contaminated air, he prepares them both, bundling them in layers of warm clothing and equipping Iris with goggles and a breathing apparatus, instructing her never to remove it under any circumstances. They collect important supplies from the observatory, load them onto a jet ski, and head out into the snowy wilderness, making their way towards Lake Hazen. It's their only source of hope in this harsh environment. On Ether, the crew fills their time with holographic visits from loved ones, immersive 3-dimensional video games, and friendly card games. But their peace is interrupted when an alarm goes off telling them their ship has gone the wrong way. Despite the setback, they manage to pinpoint their location and chart a course back to Earth using signals from K23. But their new path leads them through unfamiliar territory, presenting unforeseen challenges. While Augustine and Iris stay warm in a tent overnight, surrounded by snow, the next day they come across the wreckage of a crashed plane. It's a sad reminder of past struggles and the mysteries hidden in the snowy wilderness. As Augustine looks around the wreckage, he finds something heartbreaking: a young boy motionless sitting outside. Instructing Iris to stay put, he cautiously explores further, finding mostly scattered debris within the plane. As he's getting ready to go, a badly hurt man grabs his foot, begging for assistance. Meanwhile, Iris, unable to resist her curiosity, sneaks a peek at the body outside but gets scared and rushes back to Augustine inside the plane. However, Augustine insists she return outside. With a heavy heart, Augustine fulfills the dying man's plea and ends his suffering with a gunshot. During this difficult time, Augustine is flooded with painful memories of the woman from the party leaving, taking their daughter with her. Augustine never had the opportunity to meet their daughter. On Ether, Maya performs an ultrasound on Sully's pregnant belly, revealing that she'll be having a baby girl. Excited, the crew begins brainstorming names for the little one. Meanwhile, as Augustine and Iris continue their journey on the jet ski, Iris spots a distant bunker, and they decide to investigate. Augustine deems it a suitable place to spend the night, setting up their gear while leaving the jet ski outside. As they settle in, Augustine observes Iris drawing a picture of a woman, sparking memories of someone from his past. He remembers the woman and talks about her with Iris. Then, Iris asks him if he loved her. Later that night, the bunker starts to flood as it sinks into the melting ice. Augustine rushes to get Iris to safety, urging her to run as he gathers their belongings. They manage to get out of the sinking bunker just in time, but their jet ski gets swallowed up by the ice. Augustine tries to get the jet ski, but he can't hold his breath long enough because it sinks too fast. When he comes back up, he and Iris find comfort in each other's warmth. With no supplies left, Augustine shares their last bit of food with Iris, assuring her they'll find more when they reach Lake Hazen. They keep going through the heavy snowstorm, finding it hard to see because the snow is swirling all around them. In the middle of the storm, Augustine sees wolves gathering around them. He shoots his shotgun to scare them away, but in all the commotion, he loses sight of Iris and calls out for her, but she doesn't respond. Feeling worn out and helpless, he falls to the ground in the snow. Then, to his surprise, he sees a familiar figure, the woman from his memories. But when he gets closer, he realizes it's Iris. Overjoyed, he hugs her tightly. The following day, they finally reach Lake Hazen and waste no time in trying to establish contact with Ether. Sully manages to pick up Augustine's signal, but their conversation is cut short as the ship enters the uncharted territory of their route, bombarded by asteroids. The ship gets really hurt and their communication stuff breaks, so they can't talk to anyone. Now they're stuck in space, not knowing where they are or what to do. As the crew assesses the ship's damage, they realize they must rebuild part of their communication system and venture outside to repair it. Maya, Sully, and Aid say they'll do it. Maya is feeling scared because it's her first time outside in space, and she looks like she might throw up before she goes out. Once outside, they make progress with the repairs until they're suddenly bombarded by asteroids again. After the chaos subsides, they check on each other's safety. Maya appears shaken, but unharmed, until she notices blood droplets floating inside her suit. Aid and Sully rush her back inside, where they discover a grave injury caused by debris. Even though they try really hard to help her, Maya doesn't make it. This makes everyone on the crew feel really sad and upset. While they're feeling really sad, they look at Earth and see it's all ruined and full of radiation. Augustine tells them they can't go back to Earth because he's the only one left, and everyone else is left. The only chance they have is to go back to K-23, but Tom doesn't want to go there because he needs to find out what happened to his family. This makes things even harder for them to decide what to do next. Tom asks Aid if he can go back to Earth in one of the pods, and Mitchell wants to go too, to take Maya's body back to her family. Aid grants their request, and as they prepare to depart, Mitchell shares the heartbreaking story of his own loss, connecting with Tom over their shared grief. Tom and Mitchell say goodbye to Sully and Aid, then they leave the remaining crew of Ether and head towards Earth. Sully updates Augustine on their situation, expressing her admiration for his work, unaware of their familial connection. Augustine, touched by her words, decides not to reveal the truth about their relationship. As Ether enters a communication blackout zone, their signal is lost, leaving Aid and Sully as the last remaining members of the crew. They resolve to return to K-23, potentially starting a new and rebuilding civilization. As the story comes to a close, Augustine reflects on his hallucinations of a little girl named Iris, realizing that she was never real. The film ends with Ether's journey back to K23 and a message of thanks to the viewers for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this.